What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So let's give a quick few takeaways as to why Alex Pereira seemed like a completely different fighter. You know, you look online, you hear people talking about, and even professional analysts talking about, he didn't look like himself. You know, he looked different, he looked flat, didn't look like the Alex Pereira of old. And I think there's a reason for that. I think that Alex Pereira was fine. I don't think there was anything wrong with him on that night. I think that there are times where fighters have trouble getting off, as they say, right? And I don't mean like getting off. I mean getting off as in getting off their punches, getting off their kicks, getting off their strikes, all right? And one of the things that really stood out to me immediately, as soon as the fight started, that I was immediately reminded of is that's right. That's right. Ankalaev is southpaw. Now, I know this seems just completely intuitive, and you're like, oh, yeah, I mean, we knew that. Well, you know, Alex Pereira knew that. Alex Pereira trained for that. Yeah. But there also are some other things that Ankalaev did during that fight that Alex Pereira probably didn't train for and didn't account for. Okay, so one of those things is the body kick, the teep kick. Alex Pereira, being a larger man, kind of has a measuring system. You know, when he fights, he holds those hands out, holds those hands out. He'll pump the jab a couple of times. And then, just like with Sean Strickland, as soon as he gets guys thinking about this jab and thinking about this and, trying to evade the jab, he'll go around the jab and he'll turn that into a hook, which is his most powerful punch, which is what he seems to knock everybody out with, right? Except for Yuri Prohaska, knocked him out with a high left kick. With that said, the teep kick by Ankalaev was a very, very good distance measuring tool for Ankalaev. And it was something that he kept jabbing that to the body of Alex Pereira. And Alex Pereira has a wonderful poker face. I call him stone face for a reason, right? He even had a stone face when he got kicked to the body because you could just tell by just the slightest of body language that a couple of times when he got kicked there in the breadbasket, he was like, shit. You saw his shoulders drop just a hair, just enough to let you know that, yeah, he felt that. That was one thing, and that prevented Alex Pereira from really closing that space and coming in on the inside because as big as Alex Pereira is, his strikes are not longer than the front teep kicks of Ankalaev, right? And obviously, too, Ankalaev is quite a big man as well, okay? So that is also one of the things that kept Alex Pereira moving back, all right? Number two, southpaw position, okay? Now, that takes away the power hand, which is that left hook of Alex Pereira. Alex Pereira, when people come in, he loves to measure them and time them using the jab. He'll get them thinking about the jab. And then the next time that they come in and they get close enough, or either he'll step off to his left and then instead of throwing the jab like he normally does, he'll hook around their front hand, which if they're in traditional stance, their front hand is their left hand, correct? And so their right hand, if they're not minding their P's and Q's, like Yuri Prohaska is not minding his P's and Q's half the time, then their right hand, which is their strong hand but low hand, is going to be somewhere in here. If they don't always have it up here, guarding themselves, and you can see fighters all the time, even on that level, especially once they start getting a little bit tired, especially once they start thinking about other punches, whatever, their right hand will be all kinds of places. It'll be down here, it'll be down by their ribs. If they get hit to the body a couple of times, they'll start covering down there, and then that leaves all of this open. So Alex Pereira will angle off to the left, and he'll throw that strong left hook that seems to give everybody problems. Well, you can't do that with a guy who's keeping his distance with teep kicks and who also is right hand in front. Okay, so his right hand being in front, that means his body, his head, and his strong hand are way back here. Makes it much harder when Ankalaev is at teep kick range for Alex Pereira to come in over and through the right hand of Ankalaev, who is keeping a teep kick sort of distance from Pereira, to come in and land that overhand left. That has everything to do with the southpaw position and the fact that even though Ankalaev was marching Alex Pereira down, he was still keeping a teep kick distance, unless it was one of the few situations where he stepped through, right, with the right, and then he would come in with the overhand left. And he did switch positions. Excuse me. He did switch stances a few times as well, did Ankalaev, but it was just very briefly. Very briefly, he would switch stances, and it would be just long enough to throw that left straight and then step through with the overhand right, which he caught Alex Pereira with a couple of times in that fight. Third thing, the key to victory that Ankalaev had over Alex Pereira was pushing him back. Alex Pereira is not used to being on the back foot. He's used to standing his ground in the middle, and he fights much better when guys either meet him in the middle and stand and play at range kickboxing with him, or or he's able to kind of slowly but surely, methodically march them down, right? Because you notice Khalil Roundtree, he's also southpaw, but Khalil Roundtree played kickboxing with him. He stood in the middle with him. Not only that, Khalil Roundtree is a much shorter fighter. He didn't utilize the teep kick as much. Did have some good kicks to the body in Khalil Roundtree's defense there, but he's just outgunned, and he didn't fight the sort of masterful game plan that Ankalaev did. Alex Pereira does not do well on the back foot when someone is walking him down the whole time. And if you've ever done any sort of kickboxing at all yourself, you know that that is very tiring. It is much more tiring, despite getting kicked to the body over and over. If you've ever been hit to the body, you just know, and it's hard to explain it to anyone who's never been hit to the body. I've been hit to the body, and I've been hit to the body more than once in a short period of time, and it really does just, it's literally like the video game where you know how you're playing a video game and your character, as he gets hit, his energy level begins to wane. And then you're like, oh, damn, now he's slower. Oh, now he's too slow. I can't do anything to you now. And then you just start getting pieced up until you're knocked out. That's literally the makers of that game did that to emulate real life, basically, because that's what it's like. Your breathing is more labored. As your breathing's more labored, the oxygen to your blood is more slowed and more labored. So everything, your muscles, your muscle twitches, everything about you just slows down. You're just kind of like in slow motion. So I think when people say that, oh, he looked different, he looked slow, he looked lethargic, I think there's a reason for that. I think it was that he was on the back foot the whole time, and it's tougher when you're moving backwards to get off your shots. I think it was the fact that he was fighting a guy who was also long and using the teep kick to the body to slow him down, but was also moving forward in the southpaw position, teep kicking him, pushing Alex Pereira backwards, doing everything to stifle the offense of Alex Pereira while also tiring him out. Okay, so and then of course you have to assume too that the few times that he held him up against the fence, which I was surprised, he didn't really utilize the grappling that much. He utilized the clinch a little bit, and the referee actually broke that up. Mark Smith actually broke that up briefly when they were on the fence. I was like, "What are you doing, dude?" Like, it's almost like he wanted to give Alex Pereira a chance. It's like you don't break it up when the guy's doing damage. Ankalaev was doing damage. He was being active in that position. I don't know what that was all about, but several times throughout the fight, he didn't necessarily try to use the takedowns, but he did use the clinch in holding Alex Pereira up against the fence, laying on him, pulling down on him, holding his wrist, kind of pulling him down, further tiring out the arms of the striker, Alex Pereira. And, just to be honest, I know there's a lot of Alex Pereira fanboys out there, but let's just call it for what it is. He's a striker, and that's predominantly what he's good at. He had a great run. He kind of got exposed a little bit. Let's be honest. He got exposed by a guy who is a good all around MMA fighter who knows how to mix in all the different various techniques of MMA, the clinching, the teep kick to the body, the constant pressure moving him forward, tiring him down, tiring him out by kicking him to the body over and over, switching stances when necessary so that he could get in that straight left and overhand right. Okay? I mean, there was, being a southpaw fighter and utilizing that southpaw stance to stay away from the really, really dangerous strikes of Alex Pereira. Two of the most dangerous strikes that Alex Pereira has is that left hook that it's really hard to catch a tall southpaw fighter with, okay, because they're switched positions. Then you got the left high kick that he knocked out Yuri with. Same thing. When a guy's in a southpaw position, he's got his left hand up here and he's standing at a further distance. His measuring hand is out in front of him, so he's creating distance with that. So the face of his fighting stance, which is his body, his chest, his strong arm, his left arm, are back like this when he's in southpaw position. Whereas when you're in, traditional, you're up here like this, and then you'll drop your arm and this and that, and it leaves this whole side open for the left high kick, for the left hook of Alex Pereira. So I think those were the three keys to victory. I thought those were the three things that Ankalaev, obviously that's a very rudimentary explanation. There are a lot of little bitty tiny things that he did throughout that fight that caused him to be successful as well. Okay, so it wasn't just that, those three things, but it was the southpaw stance, it was the constant teep kicks to the body to slow Alex Pereira down, and it was the pressure and the clinching, just constantly pushing him back, get him on the fence, pulling down on him, tiring him out. It was all of those things. Okay, so I just thought it was a masterful performance by Ankalaev. Showed that he is not a one-trick pony. And I'm not saying that Alex Pereira is a one-trick pony, but he's a 2, 3, 4-trick pony, right? And once you shut down those particular skills that he's really good at, that he brought with him from his glory kickboxing career, he becomes beatable. And I think that there's a blueprint out there now. And if I'm going to be honest, I'd be surprised if he ever gets the belt again. I'm not an Alex Pereira hater. My 18-year-old son loves him. He thinks the sun rises and sets in Alex Pereira. He was pretty sad that he lost. I didn't really care either way. I'm not like a fanboy for either guy, but I just love good MMA, and I've been watching it since I was a young kid. So, it is what it is. I could appreciate the performance of Ankalaev, and Alex Pereira had a great run. Amazing what he did to come in and win belts in UFC in 2 different divisions after an exemplary career in a completely different sport of kickboxing. I mean, it says a lot about the mindset and the skill set of that guy. But that's my takeaways. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you would, please do subscribe to the channel. Like it as well. Comment down below. Let me know what you guys thought about the fight. And I will see you on the next one. Thanks so much for watching. Peace.